Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tam Danier, or Danier if you speak French. I'm a strategic product strategist who helps companies design products for product market fit. I spent my career, as Alistair said, in product, doing it all from data science, product management, design, strategy, working with Fortune 500 companies and startups to turn ambitious visions into successful products. And today, I'm going to talk to you about smart wearables, glasses, pins, etc., the entire market. But this talk isn't really about wearables. It's about something much more fundamental. How do you predict a product failure? See, we live in a world where brilliant founders burn through millions chasing ideas that seem perfect on paper, but fail miserably in reality, where engineering teams build tech marvels but nobody wants to use, where companies with compelling visions and massive funding somehow still end up on the startup chopping block. The question that haunts every founder is simple. How do you know if your idea is actually good before you bet everything on it? And today, I'm going to show you a framework that answers that question. We'll use smart glasses as our case study, not because you're building smart glasses, but because this industry has generated the clearest patterns of wins and losses in recent history. Same basic idea, same target market, wildly different outcomes. By the end of this talk, you'll have 4 brutal questions that can predict whether any startup idea will succeed or fail. You'll understand why some of the smartest companies in the world lost billions, while others have massive winners with the exact same opportunity. This is a framework that you can use to stress test any idea before you build, and I'll start with a number that should terrify every founder. In the last decade, tech's smartest companies have lost over $60 billion chasing the same dream, smart wearables that people actually want to wear every day, whether they be glasses, goggles, or pins. Google burned through billions on glass. Meta Reality Labs lost $60 billion alone since 2020. Magic Leap raised $4.5 billion and is still struggling. Humane raised $240 million before seeking a buyer after their AI pin had a 70% return rate. And yet here we are, smart wearables still don't work for most people. This isn't a story about technology either. It's about pattern recognition. Google Glass had breakthrough engineering but created social pariahs. Apple Vision Pro is a technical masterpiece that gives you a headache after 15 minutes. Humane's AI pin promised the future and had more daily returns than sales. Meanwhile, Meta Ray-Ban sold over 2 million units and became the top-selling product in 60% of Ray-Ban stores in Europe. What did Meta see that everyone else missed? I'll start with a pattern that's hidden in plain sight. Every major idea failure follows the exact same blueprint, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. None of these were complete disasters. They each got some things right, but in startups, 3 out of 4 is the difference between success and failure. Look at this pattern. So Google Glass, amazing tech, social poison. Humane, great vision, terrible economics. Apple Vision Pro, perfect engineering, painful to use. Magic Leap, incredible demos, there's no market. Each got 3 things right, missed 1 thing, and failed. The DVFU framework is not new. If you're familiar with IDEO's desirability, viability, feasibility, theory of design, I'm bringing that back and I'm adding a U for usability. The simple framework works. Desirability isn't just what people say they want, it's what they actually try to accomplish every day. Viability isn't just revenue, it's economics that work for everyone in your ecosystem. Feasibility isn't just can you build it, it's can you build and scale it profitably. And usability, the pillar most startups, especially those in hardware, miss, is whether people can actually use your product comfortably in real social situations every day. So the question becomes, how do we predict success before we build? Or in other words, how do we spot a good idea? How do you avoid becoming another innovation failure? We'll break down the DVFU framework, starting with the one that tricks the most founders, desirability. Desirability is a dangerous pillar because it's the easiest to get wrong. Most founders ask people what they want, and people lie. Not intentionally, but people can't predict their own behavior. Real desirability isn't revealed in focus groups or surveys. It's revealed by what people actually do when no one is watching. It's revealed by their fingers, their habits, their daily routines. The companies that win pay attention to behavior, more importantly, to what they're trying to accomplish with that behavior, not the stated preferences. Humane made the classic mistake. They asked people, do you want AI assistants that can replace your phone? And of course, people said yes. Who doesn't want to sound tech forward in a survey? But here's the thing, people lie in surveys, not maliciously, but no one really knows what they're going to do in a future situation. They say they want to escape their phones, and then they spend 9 hours a day staring at them. Which one is it? What people say is not enough. Meta took a completely different approach. Instead of asking people what they wanted, they watched what people actually did. They have all of the data, and what they saw was fascinating. Americans take 6 photos a day. 500 million people use Instagram stories daily. 92.5% of all pictures are taken with a smartphone. The behavior was screaming, people want to capture and share moments effortlessly, not replace their phones with AI assistants. Humane's market research looked bulletproof. AI assistants are desirable, check. Voice interfaces are the future, check. People want to escape the screens, check. They raised $240 million on this research, but reality had other plans. 70% return rate in 30 days. More AI pins were returned daily than they sold between May and August. The market research was completely disconnected from actual behavior. Meta's behavioral insight paid off massively. 2 million Ray-Ban glasses sold since October 2023. They became the top-selling product in 60% of Ray-Ban stores in Europe. Why? Because they built for what people actually do, capture and share visual content, not what they say they wanted to do in surveys. They made content capture invisible and effortless with 12-megapixel cameras and instant Instagram sharing. So the desirability test for any startup is quite simple. Are people actually doing this behavior every day already? Not would they want to. Are they already doing it? If the answer is no, you're building a solution looking for a problem. And if the answer is yes, you might be onto something. Now, we'll look at the next pillar, the one that kills great products, viability. Viability isn't just about revenue. It's about building economics that work for everyone in the ecosystem. And here's what I've learned. Great products die from bad business models faster than bad products die from great business models. And this might be the most counterintuitive lesson in product strategy. You can have breakthrough technology, compelling vision, a strong customer demand, but if your business model is broken, you're dead. Conversely, you can have simple technology with a brilliant business model, and you could win the market. Humane thought they were being clever with their recurring revenue. Our subscription model will create predictable cash flow, they said. But here's the translation. We're going to charge you a monthly fee for an AI pin. And customers heard that and said, absolutely not. Because people don't want to wear subscription wearables. They want to buy the thing and own it. Simple economics beat clever models every time. Look at this contrast. Meta's model is beautifully simple. $299 one-time purchase, partner with the world's largest eyewear company, instant access to 18,000 retail stores globally. Humane's model is a nightmare in comparison. $699 up front, plus $24 a month. That equals $987 in year one alone. Now, that's more expensive than an iPhone Pro, and you're buying a product that depends on T-Mobile, OpenAI, and Microsoft to keep working. Humane's economics were doomed from day one. They had multiple revenue partners taking cuts before they saw profit. T-Mobile for cellular, OpenAI for AI processing, Microsoft for licensing. The numbers tell the devastating story. They raised $240 million, but they only generated $9 million in total sales. That's a 26-to-1 ratio of funding to revenue for anybody that's good in math. Meanwhile, over $1 million worth of products were returned. Meta's viability success is a masterclass in partnership strategy. They partnered with Luxottica, the world's largest eyewear company with over 18,000 stores, including Sunglass Hut, LensCrafters, and Ray-Ban stores. No subscriptions, no complex dependencies, just simple retail economics that work. Result, $600 million in revenue, scaling to 10 million units annually because the unit economics work at scale. The viability test is simple. Can people actually afford to use what you're selling every month without feeling ripped off? If you're charging more than a premium phone with ongoing fees, the answer is probably no. People will pay once for great hardware, but they hate paying monthly for something like glasses. Now let's look at the pillar that separates dreamers from builders: feasibility. Feasibility is where brilliant engineers often become their own worst enemy. They optimize for technical perfection instead of human reality. They build amazing demos that can't be manufactured at scale, or products that work in a lab but fail in real life. Smart wearables feasibility has two parts. There's the engineering feasibility, can you build it? And then there's human feasibility, can people actually handle wearing it? Most companies nail the first and completely miss the second. They forget that humans have necks that get tired and faces that can feel pressure in this instance. Apple's Vision Pro is the ultimate feasibility paradox. The engineering team built breakthrough technology, 23 million pixels, dual chip processor, 12 millisecond photon-to-photon latency. It's engineering brilliance that pushes the boundaries of physics. But here's the question they forgot to ask. Can people actually wear this for more than 15 minutes without feeling pain? Your neck doesn't care about innovation if it hurts. The weight difference tells the whole story. Apple's Vision Pro weighs 22.9 ounces. That's over 1.5 pounds, including a separate battery pack. Users complain of extreme headaches after 10 minutes, black eyes from weight pressure on their cheeks. By the contrary, Meta Ray-Ban weighs only 1.7 ounces with an integrated 5-hour battery life. One reviewer said, "I nearly forgot I was wearing the thing." That's the difference between lab feasibility and human feasibility. Apple's feasibility problem is heartbreaking because the technology is so incredible. 23 million pixels, that's more than a 4K TV per eye. Dual chip processor with computational power that seemed impossible nearly 5 years ago. But the physical reality is still brutal. Users describe wearing it like a torture session, and spine surgeons are warning that the devices add 10% additional weight that your neck has to support. Magic Leap had the opposite problem. They could build amazing demos, but they couldn't scale manufacturing. 70-degree field of view, industry-leading optics, $4.5 billion in funding. But when it comes to manufacturing reality, they couldn't scale production efficiently. They had to pivot to enterprise pricing only, and they're still struggling to find market fit. Demos don't equal scalable products. Meta's feasibility win is a lesson in strategic simplicity. They didn't try to reinvent physics. It's just a 12-megapixel camera. It's 1080p video. It's a 5-hour battery life and a standard Ray-Ban form factor. But here's the genius. They leverage existing Ray-Ban production capabilities with proven supply chain partnerships. So they're scaling to 10 million units annually because they built something that could actually be manufactured at scale from day one. The feasibility test is brutal but simple. Can you actually manufacture and deliver your product at scale without bankrupting yourself? If your answer involves breakthrough battery technology, revolutionary displays, or manufacturing processes that don't exist yet, you might want to simplify. Now, let's look at the pillar that kills more startups than any other: usability. Usability is the pillar that separates successful hardware from expensive paperweights. It's not enough that your product works. People have to actually want to use it every day in real social situations. And in smart wearables, usability has two components: physical comfort and social acceptance. You can have the most amazing technology in the world, but if it hurts to wear or makes you look weird in public, daily use will die. Physical comfort is obvious. If your product causes pain, people won't use them. But social acceptance is a little bit more subtle and often more deadly. If your product makes people uncomfortable around you, you'll stop using them even if they work perfectly, apparently. Most companies test usability in controlled environments with enthusiastic early adopters. Of course, people love the features in a lab setting, but the real test is very different. Will people wear this to Starbucks every day? Will they feel comfortable wearing it on a date, to a business meeting, or talking to their kids? This is where most wearables fail. Lab testing doesn't predict real-world behavior. Google Glass is the perfect case study in social usability failure. The technology worked. It was, at the time, 5-megapixel camera, 720p video. It was a lightweight design, but users were named glass holes, and most Americans said they wouldn't buy it due to privacy concerns. The social stigma killed adoption completely. Meta Ray-Ban took an opposite approach. They look normal, they act normal. Users report that they're streamlined enough to not attract attention. That's social usability success. Google's usability disaster is a masterclass in how social perception can kill great technology. Again, technically, Glass was successful. It was standard technology, it was a lightweight design, but the social reality was devastating. The glass hole stigma became so mainstream, it was featured in Urban Dictionary, The Atlantic, The New Yorker. There were YouTube videos of New Yorkers' reactions to Google Glass, received hundreds of thousands of views. Even tech enthusiasts couldn't handle the social pressure of the device. Apple's usability problem is physical rather than social. The Vision Pro is an engineering marvel. Again, breakthrough mixed reality, intuitive hand tracking, incredible visual fidelity, but the daily reality is painful. The weight causes neck pain and headaches. Users report visual injuries from the weight of the device. Apple's own guidelines recommend 20 to 30 minutes of usage per session. That is not a daily use product. That's a special occasion device. Meta's usability win is a lesson in invisible technology. They look like regular Ray-Ban glasses with only subtle differences: discrete camera lens, minimal notification light, no heads-up display. The result is no privacy concerns. As of yet, we'll see what happens when this becomes very ubiquitous. But the form factor today allows for normal social interactions and seamless daily use. One reviewer even said that others couldn't hear programs or phone calls while they were listening to it. The glasses connect to phones and quickly disconnect when it's removed, and that's usability success, technology that works without announcing itself. The usability test is the most honest of them all. Will people actually use these products in public every day without feeling awkward? If you can't honestly answer yes to both physical comfort and social acceptance, you are building a niche product at best. Now we'll put this all together into a framework that predicted every outcome. How do you avoid joining the $60 billion graveyard of broken dreams? It comes down to these 4 brutal questions that predict success or failure. I call it the DVFU reality check, and it's designed to save you years of wasted effort. Before you build anything, ask these 4 questions. For desirability, do people already do this behavior daily? Not do they say they want to do it, do they actually do it? For viability, can normal people afford this without regret? Not early adopters paying premium prices, but regular humans with regular budgets. For feasibility, can we build this with existing technology? Not if everything goes perfectly, but with the technology and the supply chains that exist today. And for usability, will people use this every day? Not in controlled demos, but at Starbucks, on dates, in business meetings. When you apply these questions, the pattern becomes crystal clear. Meta Ray-Ban passed all 4 tests. People wear sunglasses daily, the price feels reasonable, the technology exists, and they look normal. Google Glass failed usability catastrophically. Nobody wanted to be called a glass hole. Humane failed both viability and desirability. People don't want subscription pins for behaviors they don't actually do. And Apple Vision Pro failed both usability and viability. It's too heavy and awkward for daily use, and it's way too expensive. It's over $3,000 USD. Magic Leap failed viability. They couldn't find a sustainable business model at scale. So here's your startup advantage. Ask these 4 questions before your competitors do. While they're trying to build